I've tried so many diets since I was 20 years old. I've been dieting off and on, got good results from different diets. But one thing those diets did not teach me, it didn't teach me how to live a healthy lifestyle and how to see myself as a healthy person. See, I never changed my self image up here. This time, this time is different because I renewed my mind first. This time, I'm the vision queen.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Martha. Welcome back to Living La Vida Carney. I have such a special treat for you guys today. I have a special guest, and she goes by Miss Lady Tay. I love that name. Miss Lady Tay, welcome to Living La Vida Carney.
Hi, Martha. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to
Oh, I'm
join
so
you.
excited.
Yes, me too.
I I saw your Instagram page, and I love your videos. I love your walk and talks. I love what I saw. I was so inspired. And instead of looking at all of them, I was like, I need to have you on because you seem like a woman of faith, but
Yes, ma'am.
also I wanted to hear your story live and get my honest reaction to all of your full story. And so thank you so much. This is Miss Lady Tay's first interview. So I'm so excited about this.
I'm excited too.
Awesome. Awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself to start off? Where are you from? And what do you do?
I'll be glad to. Well, I am from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised,
Nice.
and I live in the outskirts of Atlanta now. So, when people say Atlanta, we're really talking about like the whole metro area. Anyway, I was born and raised in Atlanta. Um, I had a childhood of a loving family, but I did go through a lot of obesity. I think I was first got heavy at age 8, and that was a battle that I faced my
Mhm.
whole life.
There's a lot of children now more than ever that are
Yeah,
going through obesity in childhood. Tell
yeah.
us about that.
And during the time when I was obese as a child, it wasn't a lot of kids yet that was obese, so it was hard, traumatic in elementary
Mhm.
school and middle school, dealing with the fact that I was the biggest one, the last to be picked for different things and stuff like that. I was able to cope with it a little more in high school once I got into marching band, and was able to find some talents that people did it get um admire, with me being really good with the clarinet and marching band and stuff. So I had some breakthrough as far as people kind of liking me for what I could do, but as
Nice.
far as like dates and dealing with obesity back then, it wasn't very popular at all to be the big girl. You were always considered the fun friend.
Right.
So yeah,
You're the girlfriend of the girls that are dating.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Mhm. I was too.
Yeah. So you can relate. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's been my life.
The
You know,
funny one. Right.
besides that, I had a wonderful childhood with my parents and everything, but it was some things that they couldn't understand. You know how that is. But that's been, mostly my life. I love music, I love art, and I like making things with my hands. I like to sew. I actually have a toy store where I create doll clothes for my Etsy and eBay store that I
Wow.
do along with my ministry. So, yes.
You're a
You're a
well-rounded
well-rounded
person.
person.
Yeah. Yes. I
That's
thank the Lord for
awesome.
that.
That's awesome.
So
So,
tell
tell
me
me
a
a
little
little
bit
bit
more
more
about
about
what
what
led
led
to
to the
your obesity.
obesity.
What
What
kind
kind
of
of foods?
what
What
was
was
the
the
environment
environment
in
in
your
your
home?
home?
Were
Were
you
you
the
the
only
only
one
one
that
that
was
was
overweight?
overweight?
What
What
did
did
that
that
look
look
like?
like?
Yes. Well, growing up, my family, not just, my my immediate family, but like pretty much my whole family, we battle with obesity. That's like something that most of us battle with. All my aunties and my grandmother um, all battle with obesity. I grew up very close to my grandmother, and she had some obesity um, diseases. She had diabetes and heart disease. I believe the diabetes led her to the heart disease and kidney disease. And, she ate a lot of fried foods and, you know, junk food and stuff like that. And my mother, she likes sweets as well, and she's a diabetic herself. Now she's not
Mm.
really big, but she's sort of like what you would think is a toffee because
Oh,
Oh,
she have diabetes, but she's not big. She's actually the size that I am now. She never really been big, but my grandmother was. Her mother was.
explain
explain
to
to
people
people
what
what
a
a
tofu
tofu
is.
is.
A toffee is someone who has fat on the inside but not on the outside.
Right.
Right.
And that's something that me and Martha learned, I'm sure, from listening to people like Dr. Ken.
Yes,
But
absolutely. I was like, I
I was
was
shocked
shocked
when
when
I
I
learned
learned
how
how
many
many
skinny
skinny
diabetics
diabetics
there
there
are.
are.
yes, and my mom is one of them.
Mm.
And
I
I
read
even
even
a
a
study
study
that
that
there
there
was
was
like
like
a
a
new
new
record
record
of
of
skinny
skinny
diabetics
diabetics
in
in
India.
India. It was
mm,
amazing.
And
And
you're
you're
thinking,
thinking,
but
but
they
they
look
look
so
so
good.
good.
they
How
do.
could it be possible?
Yeah,
So
It's
it's
possible.
possible.
it's very possible. And so with me and my sister, I have two other sisters and a stepsister. Well, my sister that was living with me growing up, she was thin all the way up to high school. But me, I gained the weight from elementary school, and it started from a sweet tooth. Uh, growing up with my grandmother, you know how they give you treats and stuff.
Yes.
We ate sweets and stuff together, and I was
That's
always
how
like,
they love on you.
yeah, I was like her little shadow and everything. I spent a lot of time with her, even stayed with her for a while. And when I was going to church with her, church always have potluck dinners and all kinds of treats and junk food. And when I was in the church, I was in the children's choir, and the children's choir is called the Starlights, and we did a fundraiser a couple of years, and my whole family was in that church because our great grandparents was members of that church. So all my family got together and helped me sell the chocolate bars for the
Yes.
fundraiser to help me become Miss Starlight. Well,
Yes.
I was Miss Starlight for 1985, 86. Well, guess who got most of the chocolate when we turned around and bought a lot of the chocolate so I could win? All right. It
Yes.
was us. So I
You're
had
like, I'm
my
the
fill
winner.
of the chocolate, okay? And
You were the chocolate queen.
yes, so we ate a lot of that chocolate, and I have to admit, I ate a lot of it and stuff.
Mhm.
And I had cavities and stuff as a kid, so I had some dental issues. But when the weight really picked up was when my family moved out to the outskirts of Atlanta in an area where it wasn't really many black people, and we moved into a neighborhood where I was the only black
Wow.
child, and I didn't have any friends, so I was already vulnerable there. But
Mm-hmm.
when we moved to and it was hard. I was in second grade, and I did meet some people in the circle. I'm not going to say the street, but it was called the circle. Okay,
Okay.
and I met a girl. Her and I became best friends and everything. And there was some boys in the neighborhood that I went and rode my bike with, and very active. I was very active. But one summer, during that summer, I thought these boys was my friends, but
Oh.
apparently not. Or maybe someone influenced them in their family because we were friends, I thought. But one day I went to their house to ask, did they want to come outside and play and ride our bikes like we normally do?
Mhm.
And they opened the door and threw pepper in my eyes, and told
Oh.
me to go home, you in.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
I don't want to say the word, but y'all know what I
Sure.
mean. The derogatory for what they call black people.
Yes, ma'am.
And that traumatized me. I went home crying with pepper in my eyes and told my dad, and he was very upset and told me don't go outside and play no more. So
Mm.
I didn't go outside and play, so I stayed in the house and played with my Nintendo, the original Nintendo Mario
Oh
Brothers.
yes.
And
I'm an expert.
yes, so the original Super
Yes.
Nintendo. I mean the original Nintendo with Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And they became my best friends along with little Debbie snack cakes.
Yes,
And
you know Miss Debbie. Y'all best friends?
yeah, we became best friends, and Lay's potato chips and all of
Uh-huh.
them. And my mom didn't have us in the summer program that summer because I didn't want to be around people at that point because I was pretty much traumatized. Well,
Sure.
during that summer, because I wasn't active, I ballooned all the way up to beyond husky. I was actually women's clothes, women's size clothes, and I was only like 10,
Mm.
and that's where it started from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
the
the
carb
carb
addiction
addiction
and
and
sugar
sugar
addiction
addiction
is
is
real.
real.
It is. It is definitely real. It's one beast, one giant that I had to slay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
after
Well,
you
you
certainly.
sure enough did that.
many years of dieting and starving myself in high school, just doing so many different things because when you know your parents mean well, but you know I would tell them about what some of the kids would say, and well, they will say little things like, well, why don't you just get the weight off? Why don't you just lose weight? Well,
Right.
they didn't know how to talk, but I would take that literally of like, okay, well, only thing I know to do is not to eat. So,
Right.
I
Right.
would starve myself and not eat, and, but then turn around and eat
Thank
food that
you.
was in the house. With my mom being a diabetic, she liked junk food, so it was readily always there for me to eat. And with her working, she didn't really cook, so we ate a lot of stuff like hamburger helper and all that kind of stuff. And that's the wrong thing to eat when you already a sugar addict or a carb addict, which I didn't know I was an addict till lately. I thought it was normal the way I ate, but no, it
Yeah.
was bad.
I thought something was wrong with me. I
Mm.
didn't know that carb addiction and sugar addiction was as addicting as certain drugs.
Yes,
That blew my mind.
it blew my mind as well. But then once our mind was blown, I'm sure we studied ourselves because I know I did. And it was like,
Yes.
aha, no wonder
Mhm.
I couldn't do this. So no
Right.
wonder I dealt with this. So
So there's nothing wrong with me.
there's nothing wrong with us, girl. Nothing
Hmm.
wrong with us. But it
Yeah.
is something wrong with this system in this world that tell us that there's something is wrong with us. And that's
Yeah.
why I go hard against the diet industry the way I do when I talk on my walk and talks, because
Mm.
it's so many of us go through this. And
Yes.
Yes,
they try to make it seem like it's our fault, and it's not our fault. However, it is our problem to solve,
that's
but
it.
it is not our fault
Right.
at all.
Dr. Barry always says it's not your fault, but it
Right.
is your problem.
It
And
is your
that's so
problem.
true.
It is your problem. And until we take responsibility about this problem with ourselves first and then help others with our story, that it's going to always be a problem. We got to start somewhere, you
Hmm.
know. So
Yep.
yeah, that's why I love Dr. Berry. I love Dr.
Yes.
Berry. And
He's a blessing.
we gonna get to that part about him as
Yes.
well, because he's part of the story as well.
That's awesome. So let's go into what led you to keto, carnivore. Did you start low carb? How did you even hear about it?
It is so funny that you asked me that, because I didn't know any about any of this stuff when I started. Absolutely none of it. It was like, okay, before this all happened, like back 2019, I was so depressed from my best friend Caroline passing away. She
Mm.
passed away in October of 2019.
Mm.
I'm so
It was
sorry.
such a horrible time because, I was there when she was battling. And all this led up to this. She
Mm.
was battling with cancer, but before she had the cancer, she was diagnosed with diabetes. I had to take her to the emergency room, and her A1C was like 400 and something. And
Oh
Oh.
my
she
goodness.
didn't know she was a diabetic. And
Mm.
when they came in the room and revealed that, we got, I need to talk to you about your diabetes. She was like, "What are you talking about? I'm not diabetic." I mean, she didn't know. And I was like, "What? You didn't know?" And she was like, "No, I didn't know." And
Mm.
so they was talking to her about that. So then she started, taking the medicine for that to try to control that. And then soon after that, she got really, really sick and found out that she had cancer. So I was like, what? So all of this was just bam, bam, bam happening to us together in this fight, like so quickly.
Mhm.
She was trying to help me promoting the business that we were doing, and she was feeling sick, sick, sick. And then it's like from that day that I took her to the emergency room, it's just so many things was happening so quickly. And then my husband, he was having some problems with himself. He always battled with schizophrenia and depression, but he started
Wow.
having some issues himself. So it was just so many things that I had to be like the rock for them.
Yeah.
And, him dealing with that, and then her being sick, and then, just so many things was happening, and house that we were renting was falling apart on us, and the landlord didn't want to fix all the repairs and stuff. And so he decided at the same time that Caroline had was going into hospice at that point to sell the house. So the same day that Caroline passed, I had to move out of my house that I lived in for 4 years, and so many things was happening at once. So we had to hurry up and find an apartment to move in quickly. And she passed away that day. That day, and then we
Wow.
moved. Then when I moved into the apartment that we moved in, I said, Lord, I need some help. You gotta help me, Lord. I gotta make it through this. So I went on a fast,
Mm.
and during the 3-day fast, that's when I heard from the Lord that I was special, and that I'm the vision queen. So that's my title, the vision queen.
Wow.
He
Okay,
told
hold up.
me the
Hold
vision
up.
queen.
Hold up. You trying to tell me God talks to you?
Well, I didn't know he could talk to me till I did that fast.
Yes. We want the world to know that the Lord still speaks today.
Yes, he does. He
He's
does.
alive and well, and he can speak to anyone he wants to.
Yes, and
And
especially when you in despair like that,
yes.
he stepped in. And he said I was a visionary missionary on the field to help God's people rise and elevate. So I thought it was just me starting a YouTube channel and just motivating people.
Hmm.
I didn't know he was going to transform my body and my mind and everything like that till something happened to my son. Did you want me to go into that yet, or
Please, because I'm riveted.
okay? One day my son was doing some experimenting. My son is autistic. I only
Okay.
had one son, and I didn't find out till later it was because I have PCOS. We'll talk about that too. But
Okay.
he's autistic, and I've been home for ever since he was in kindergarten, taking call center work jobs here and there to help make ends meet and stuff, so I can be there for him. Well, during the pandemic, he was home with me all the time. We put him on Cyber Academy, and
Mm.
because he was home, he got into, I guess, getting bored and everything. So he started watching YouTube videos about science, and he started experimenting with science and electricity.
Oh,
And one day he decided to do one of the experiments that he saw on YouTube.
oh boy.
Yes, and he's so extremely smart, y'all. He's so smart. He's gonna be a inventor or something someday.
Like a savant.
Yes, he is. He is. His dad is the same way, and I think I am a same way too when it comes to art and creating stuff. But he got into something that day. I think he went outside in these apartments, and when they're remodeling these apartments, they would just throw the appliances out by the dumpster. Well, when he walked the dog one day, he went out there and got something from one of the appliances and took it apart, and he snuck it in his room, and something told, I know it's the Lord. He told me to fast, that something is weird is gonna happen that day.
Oh,
And something weird did happen that day. A bird hit our window and died. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to, Lord, what's going on? Okay. So I fasted and prayed that day. And then at 6 o'clock that night, I heard a surge. And I'm like, I heard a surge, and then I heard a thump, and it was him falling in the other room. And I was like, "What is going on?" So I ran in there, and he was on the floor on fire. Electricity went through his left hand because he
Oh,
was doing the experiment, and he had a rod in his hand, and it burnt through his hand and went through his thigh, and he was surging on the floor on fire. And all I knew was run and try to get that out of his hand. I mean, I could have died,
yeah.
but I don't know how I got that out of his hand. But dad ran in and I told him, call 911. And I got that out of his hand just in time. But his whole hand was burnt. His whole hand was burnt and his thigh was burnt.
Mm.
I was able to roll him over so the fire would go out. And he was so scared. He came to. I was like, "Is he okay?" Because I would, he was out for a second. I was like, oh my God,
Mm.
my only son," you know. And he came to, but he jumped up scared, like he was scared he was in trouble. I was like,
Oh,
"Wait a minute, your head is burnt, and all you can think about is
yeah.
you're in trouble." So the fire department came and life flighted him to the burn center in
Mm.
Atlanta called Grady Memorial Hospital. I know you're from it. You came to Atlanta for a while, so you
Mm-hmm.
probably heard of Grady, the best burn center, by the way.
Mm.
And that was actually the hospital that I was born in. So it was pretty
Wow.
weird being in the same hospital that I was born in. But they took good care of him. I was in there with him for 31 days. And it was Christmas time we spent in there,
Mm.
and, I said, "Lord, something good gotta come out of this. Something good has to come out of this because we already been through so much hell over the years. How much
Yes.
more hell can a person go through, Lord? I need you. I need your help, Lord. You gotta help me." I said, "Something good gotta come out of this," you know? I had to deal with the doctors telling me that, he might lose his hand. I was like, "What?" So I had to deal with that. The doctor
Mm.
was telling me all I could do is remove dead tissue. I can't make it alive. I said,
They
"But
don't work miracles.
my God can make it alive, though."
That's it.
And I stood on that. I said, "God, he already autistic. He don't need to not have his hand too."
Mm.
I had to deal with that. So a lot of fasting and praying in the hospital with him, but a lot of eating junk food and carbs too, because they don't have the best food in the hospital. And at the time, I was trying to be vegan, even though I was heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what kind of vegetarian or vegan are you? You can't even get your weight down. I actually gained weight trying to be vegan for a whole year because I was eating all this carb garbage that's in the
Yes.
boxes talking about Morning Star. But the church that I was going to was Seventh-day Adventist. So, they tell us we not supposed to eat meat. So I tried to
Right.
be compliant and do that. But in the hospital, they told me because he was a burn patient, he need to eat a lot of protein. So, the lady said, when you go home, you're gonna have to make him a lot of meats and eggs and protein and stuff like that because his burns gotta heal. So I had to be the one to do all the wound care and stuff. Keep in mind in the hospital, I had to sit there and hear my son crying every single day when they
Mm.
were coming there changing his burns. This time he had a lady named Latoya Okia, who's a coach. I found her on YouTube and she started talking about, we're kingdom saints and everything. And she loved Miles Monroe like I do.
Mm-hmm.
So
So do
I
I.
gravitated to her. So I was like, me and her got a lot in common. See, God will send you people like a
Mm-hmm.
destiny helper. that will
Yeah.
help you along. And she was like, we need to get our bodies right. You need to go in the beast mode. And she started talking about this beast mode, beast mode. And then she was talking about we need to do something about our bodies. So she started a program August 1st.
Of
And
what
What
year?
year?
90 days, we're
What
What
going to
year?
year?
work on our bodies. This was 2022,
Okay.
Okay.
just last year, y'all.
Wow.
Wow.
August 1st. So God said, pay for that and do it. So I paid for it and I did it. But I didn't
It's
do
a
what they
good
was
thing you hear God.
God, I'm telling you, He was leading me because I did not know nothing about keto or none of this stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So He just told me to fast. Well, I started fasting. I wasn't doing what Latoya, any of them was doing. He
Okay.
said, you need to pay and do that so that you have support,
Okay.
which is important, guys. So I did that. And then as I was doing that, I watched her other videos say, you are the one, you are the one. So I kept hearing over and over again that I am the one that's going to make a change. I am the one. So I wrote on a piece of paper that I am change.
Yes.
So I wrote that down during the fast and I started journaling. And God just kept telling me to fast, but I didn't know when to stop. And
So
He kept telling me to
how many
don't stop.
days? How many days were you fasting?
Well, I say by day 20, that's when I found out about keto.
Was so you were doing a full fast for 20 days?
Water only.
Wow.
Before I started the fast, that's when I did that video that you said you saw with the blue shirt.
Okay. Yes.
God review needs to rebuild my temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he would not tell me how long to fast, y'all. He just kept telling me to fast, fast. You don't
Ooh.
have the revelation yet. You don't have the revelation. So I just kept fasting.
He
And
told you like Abraham, go to a place you
yes,
don't know yet.
yes, yes. So I'm like, okay. And I told my husband, I said, I don't know how long I'm gonna do this. So he was like, you sure about this? I was like, yeah. So he eventually started. Well, he didn't start yet. Okay, so let me go back, rewind. Okay, so I say maybe about day 14, I found Dr. Genetics. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Padig Genetics. Okay. He was saying, you are addicted. You addicted to junk food. So that's what I was revealed to me that I was addicted to junk food.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband was like, wait a minute, he's talking about me too. I said, I know. Look how we would eat, we would cook and still want to go get Chick-fil-A or
Mm-hmm.
pizza or something. And I was a good cook, but we wanted the junk food. Okay. So, so that was revealed to us. By that time, my husband was watching. So, he was like, well, I can't fast like what you doing, but I need to do something too.
I could
So
I can
eat
that's
eat
fast.
fast.
about intermittent fasting. So we got him intermittent fasting where he would eat like one meal, but I still was fasting. Y'all, I found another guy that was talking about fasting because I said, Lord, what am I going to do after this fast? I don't want to lose all this weight and then gain it back. So I
Yeah.
found another guy that was talking about people who were morbidly obese that was fasting, um, what you call a rolling fast, where they would fast, then feast, then fast, then feast.
Okay.
So he revealed to me to keep doing that after my fast. But then I found Dr. Berg talking
Okay.
about keto. So I said, keto, that's what we could do. So
Mm-hmm.
I started my husband on keto, and then I started having my son eat keto too because he's autistic. I said we need to help him out too. If we can
Mm-hmm.
help him out. So my son and my husband was eating keto, and plus my son was already eating a lot of protein anyway for his burns, so that worked
Mm-hmm.
out perfectly.
So
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 this
this
I
was
was
already
already
like
like
September.
September.
yes, September, y'all. This fast was not over till 40 days and 40 nights.
Wow.
Yes, 40 days I fasted. How in the world somebody that's totally addicted to junk food could just totally fast like that? I'm telling you, anger. I was so angry with my
Wow.
situation that I was not going to stop until I got the revelation on what I'm going to do for the rest of my life because
Mm.
I just could not take it anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
needed to know what was wrong with me. So God revealed that I was an addict during that time. He revealed to me what doctors and coaches to listen to. He revealed to me what I call my divine blueprint and my divine nutritional blueprint. And that's when I started learning more about keto and how we're not supposed to be eating all that carb garbage. I call it garbage. And how we're not supposed to eat processed foods. And then um, later on, I didn't know about carnivore yet, but just the keto
Mm-hmm.
or the rolling fasting. So after the 40 days was over, I ate just keto, like one meal a day for 7 days. And I was eating like my salads and stuff and my ground patties and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And I was like, Lord, I do not want to gain this weight back. I worked too hard for
How
this.
much weight did you lose just fasting?
44 pounds
Wow.
in 40 days. 44 pounds. Just water fasting. I
Was
didn't
that torturous for you?
did I'm glad you asked because I was like, I want to go too fast. I want to
Because
talk.
some people have a really hard time with fasting.
Well, the only thing that was torturous was I had so much TMI. I had so much diarrhea. I was like, what is going on? What
Yeah.
in the world is going on? I
Mm-hmm.
felt weak, yes, but
Mm.
I just kept having diarrhea. And I'm like, why am I having diarrhea? I'm not eating anything. But I made sure I had my salt water, to try to make sure I had my electrolytes and everything. Because I was like,
Okay.
what is going on? And
Mm-hmm.
then that's when I found Mindy Peltz. She's very important in this story because
Okay.
when I found Dr. Mindy, she was talking about if you have certain symptoms, you have a sick mitochondrial. So I was like, okay, so I got sick mitochondrial. And then she said, you may have SIBO. So I'm
Mm.
like, SIBO, that's it. SIBO. It's like, okay, SIBO is like you have bad bacteria that goes to the wrong section in your stomach. Like the bacteria is supposed to be in your intestines to get in your stomach. And then listening to her made me realize I had a leaky gut.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's what she started talking about. Some people who have a leaky gut, they need to go carnivore. And I'm like, what is this carnivore she talk about? And then
Mm.
when I heard her say carnivore, I said, that sounds crazy. That nah, I'm keto.
Yeah.
I said, that's a little much. I don't think so. So I didn't,
That's
That's
I
not
did
the
not the
I,
Lord.
Lord.
I totally dismissed the carnivore idea at the time. But when I started doing after the 7 days, because I told y'all I had the diarrhea and all that stuff, that eventually stopped. So
How
whatever
long
little
before it
Before it
critter,
stopped?
stopped.
it stopped like around, I'd say maybe about day day 25. Yeah,
Mm.
about day 25. I
That's
That's
a
just
a
couldn't
long
long
feel it.
time.
time.
Yes, but I kept pushing through it because I said, whatever these things is in my gut, they
It's
dying.
detoxing.
Detoxing.
It's detoxing.
All
All right,
right,
let's
let's
fast
fast
forward.
forward.
We
We
got
got
to
to
Dr.
Dr.
Mindy.
Mindy.
She
Yes.
She
tells
tells
you
you
about
about
carnivore.
carnivore.
When
When
did
did
you
you
start
start
carnivore?
carnivore?
Okay. I heard the carb addiction doctor talk about he was carnivore. I said, well, he seemed like he kind of normal. He's not, don't seem
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So maybe
Sandy, maybe
Maybe
we
we
could
could
put
put
some
some
pictures
pictures
of
of
some
some
before
before as we go through
yes,
this story and just kind of
so
so
people
people
can
can
see
see
the
the
amazing
amazing
transformation.
transformation.
All
yes,
All
right,
and
right,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
and yes, when I saw the carb addiction doctor, he seemed kind of reasonable, and he was talking about how he helped people with their carb addiction. And he said that he was carnivore. So I said, maybe this is not such a bad thing. Maybe I need to look into this carnivore thing. So then that's when I looked more into it and I found Dr. Ken Berry. And when I found Dr. Ken Berry and I listened to, I binged watch him like we would watch Netflix. And that man, I
Same.
tell you, that man, the stuff that he was saying and about how, you know, some people need to turn down the car
Knob.
volume knob
Mm-hmm.
down to zero,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you need to do that. So I started thinking that because I was like, I need to get rid of, I don't want to have no more cravings. I want to be done with this.
Yes.
So in December of last year, we decided to do no November of 22, we decided to do it for a month. We did the
Mm.
challenge. So we did it for a month and got some good results. But it was kind of confusing if that was working or was the fasting working, because
Right.
when I told you about the rolling fast, well, I
Mm-hmm.
was doing 72-hour fast and then I would feast the whole day. Then I
Okay.
would do 72-hour fast, then I would feast the whole day.
Mm.
So I was doing that constantly. And I didn't call it 72-hour fast. I eventually started calling it the Queen Esther fast, because if you
Okay.
know about Esther in the
I love
Bible,
that.
she fasted for 3 days. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, since I'm a queen,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I need to be doing. So I did the 3 days and then feast, did 3 days and then feast. And
Wow.
I stayed on that pattern. I stayed on that pattern consistently
Miss
Miss
Lady
Lady
Tay,
Tay,
I've
for,
I've
never
never
heard the
heard the
Lord
Lord
tell
tell
me
me
to
to
fast
fast
like
like
that.
that.
you know, it's like a muscle. Once you
Yeah.
Yeah.
train it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's nothing to me now.
Mm.
Mm.
But I have to tell you, if it wasn't for keto and carnivore keeping away the cravings, there's no way I could have did it.
Yes. Yeah.
No way at all.
Mm.
And so when I found Dr. Ken, that's when things started really making sense. I heard all the stuff he was saying about all these different studies and the lies that they were saying. And I just kept studying him and the carb addiction doctor. And then I found a few other people, Dr. Anthony Chafee, about
Mm-hmm.
vegetables, how vegetables are poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
People might not agree what he said, but I tell you what, when I stopped eating those vegetables, my gut used to bubble up like
Mm.
bloat. When I stopped eating those, that went away.
He's
He's
opened
opened
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
eyes.
eyes.
Yes, yes. So during December, I still wanted to eat my chili and all that stuff. So I was still making my chili and all that, and had the bell peppers and the onions and stuff. So I did that during December. But I got really, really serious about carnivore in April. I said, I gotta stop having all these bumps because I have PCOS. And
Mhm.
I'm like, something got to get rid of this because, even though I'm healed, even though I went through a transformation, I'm sure you guys probably saw the pictures, probably said, is that really her? Could that really be her? I didn't just go through a weight loss journey. I went through a complete transformation
Yeah.
where everything changed. My mind, my mindset, the way I saw myself, my perception of everything totally changed. I would be able to be behind this camera if I was the way I used to be, you know,
Mhm.
but everything changed. And just listening to all these doctors and listening to the main one, I almost forgot, Jason Fong. That's what
Oh
made me
yeah.
get into fasting. I
Yes.
found him doing the 40-day fast.
Mm.
So, reading his books and listening to Obesity Code and Diabetes Code made me realize that my divine nutritional blueprint is what I call it. The way I eat, like how Ken Berry says, the proper human diet.
Mhm.
Well, I call it my divine nutritional blueprint because everything
Good.
in the Bible tell us what to eat.
Mhm.
And I ain't see nothing in there about no wheat, uh, carb, garbage, junk. I ain't see that in there. I ain't see none of that stuff in there. Okay, they
No, no,
know.
no impossible burgers.
Nope, nope. I ain't see that in there. God created us.
Yeah.
He created our DNA, our whole blueprint. Okay, so
It's
he know.
amazing how he created the body to
Yes,
heal and regenerate in
yes.
such a way if it's given the proper nutrition.
The proper nutrition, and that's it. And the fasting and the autophagy got rid of the old dead cells and all of
Mm.
the old junk that I've eaten for the past 43 years at the same time. And I was eating real food, the proper
Mhm.
Cuban diet to rebuild the building blocks of my cells to
Mhm.
rebuild me again because I couldn't go through life feeling like that. Already 43 years old, having sciatic pain down my leg,
Yeah.
275 pounds, and I'm only 5'1".
Wow.
Going through that and feeling weak and tired all the time where I have to take a afternoon nap. Now when
Mm.
I take a nap it's because I woke to, but I had
Yes.
to take a nap all the time and my skin was all botchy and
Mhm.
dry spots, but then have big, huge PCOS pimples just popping up all over my face and not knowing when I would have a period. It was just
Mhm.
crazy. I couldn't go through that no more. I was angry. And
Yeah.
like I said in my video, sometimes you have to become angry
Yes.
or you can make a change. And
Dave
until you,
Ramsey says that
yeah,
change doesn't come until you get sick and tired
yeah.
of being sick and tired.
Well, guess what? I was way past that. It was to the point where some people probably would say, "Oh, you insane." Well, guess what? Sometimes you have to be to make a change. The
Mhm.
world would say you insane, and I guess I was because I had to do something. I couldn't do it no more. I
Mhm.
couldn't live that way anymore. You know.
Yeah.
And my husband followed me.
He
He
did
did
it
it
with
with
you,
you,
carnivore?
carnivore?
Yes, yes, and we're still carnivore now. He lost 80, almost
Ooh.
90 pounds.
You
You
got a
got a
new
new
man,
man,
Miss
Miss
Lady
Lady
Tay.
Tay.
Yes, I did. And he got him
Woo!
a new queen.
All
All
right.
right.
That's
That's awesome.
awesome.
All
Yes,
right.
yes,
Now, I have a question for you.
yes.
What
What
role
role
did
did
exercise
exercise
play
play
in
in
all
all
of
of
this,
this,
in
in
your
your
journey?
journey?
Well, it's funny that you asked, and I'm glad that you asked that because I want people to understand. You cannot exercise a bad diet.
Yes.
You got to change what you are putting in your mouth first. I'm sorry, you have to. Because I'm telling you this, if you try to run and go to the gym and do all this exercise while you still big or obese
Mm.
like I was, you gonna injure yourself first of all.
Yes.
Because your body's gonna be like, what is going on? You gonna pull something or something. Because I
Mm-hmm.
did that to my knee,
Mm-hmm.
trying to do too much, trying to get on the elliptical and all this stuff. Y'all saw a picture of me big on the elliptical, but I ended up hurting myself.
Mm.
So you got to start by doing the intermittent fasting
Mm-hmm.
and changing the way you eat first,
Yes.
because you got to control that hunger, that if especially if you're an addict, you got to control those sugar cravings. Because if you try to exercise and you know do all of that, you got to first increase your hunger even more, and
Mm-hmm.
that's going to work against you. Because the more you exercise and burn calories, the more you're going to want to eat.
Okay, I've got another question. When you would eat, because you were fasting a lot, how
Mhm.
much would you eat? Did you count calories? Were you like tracking? Or would you just like, I'm gonna just eat once a day? Or and how much would you eat?
Well, when before I knew about carnivore, when I was trying to do keto, I said, I'm just gonna do the old man, and that wasn't enough. But when I found out carnivore, I didn't count nothing. I ate as much as I want to,
Nice.
as much
You're my kind of woman.
steak and eggs and
Yes.
as much as I want. My beef bacon that I found at Walmart. Oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
that beef bacon is so good. I don't eat pork, but I
Okay.
eat beef, and I eat as much as I want. I don't count. I would count on my fitness pal, but I'm not counting so I can know how many calories I'm eating.
You're just
I'm
tracking
keeping
food.
a diary, and I eat the same. I think people get messed up when they be like, people all the time saying, "Can you send me a meal plan?" No, just eat a
Yes.
meal. Just eat.
Yes.
Our ancestors didn't have
How
no
many
meal plans.
ounces of this? And
Yes. That's the diet industry got our minds jacked up
yes.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, when our ancestors went and hunted, you think they took the skin off the meat? You think they, I mean, come on. A lot of this stuff makes me angry because it's like, when did we lose our common sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have calorie counters. We didn't have a pedometer to
Right.
see how many steps we did. No,
Mm-hmm.
we got out there and hunted for the food, and then we killed it, and we gorged on it till we fell out.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And some days we didn't catch anything, so we fasted
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't catch anything every day. And
Mm-hmm.
we didn't eat fruit all the times. Fruit was seasonal.
Right.
So every now and then we may have uh ate, honey. If we did eat that stuff, I don't mess with that
And they
person.
were
And they were
smaller
smaller
and they
and they
weren't
weren't
injected
injected
with
with
things
things
and
and
made
made
to
to
do
do
it
Right,
it
in
in
a
a
science
science
lab
lab. And
and
right, right. We didn't eat Frankenstein food, and that's
right.
what this junk is. This stuff is
Yeah.
made in a lab where they formulate the fat, salt, and the sugar just right to hook you. And
Mm-hmm.
I was one of them. I was hooked. I had to have it. I had to have my Chick-fil-A. I don't care what bill I didn't pay. I had to have it. That's how bad it was, y'all. It was
Yeah.
horrible. I
And
had
who
who
knew
knew
that
that
you
you
could
could
eat
eat
as
as
much
much
as
as
you
you
do
do
and
and
it's
it's
all
all
right?
right?
right. And when we did eat the junk food, because I know you remember, when we
Oh
Oh,
did eat
yeah.
yeah.
junk food, we were never full.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were never full. We would eat it, and it's like, what's next? We were
Mm-hmm.
never
Mm-hmm.
full. But now I eat and I'm satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to worry about counting anything. I just
Yeah.
eat what I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat my eggs. I'm going to eat my bacon. I'm going to eat my steak. I'm going to eat whatever I'm going to eat. And I don't have to worry about counting a thing. And people don't understand that. When you try to explain that to them, they're like, that doesn't make any sense. But yet you
Right.
still watching the transformation that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Aren't you a little bit curious at this point? You saw me before. You see
Mm-hmm.
me now. What you wait for?
Mm-hmm.
But people, like I said, they got to get angry like I did.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. There's somebody out there who's watching right now, and they have had it. I mean, they're angry, just like you were, Miss Lady Tay. And you didn't have gastric bypass surgery,
Nope.
and you, what would you tell them? Do one, two, three. This is what you got to do.
Write down your vision and make it plain. I'm the
Mm,
vision queen, so I have to tell you that. You have to write down such a detail on paper on the person you
that's
want,
good.
from the way she look,
Mm,
the way she dress, the way she carry herself.
that's so good.
And I don't care how elaborate it seemed to you. You write it down because God gave you that vision of the person He created you to be. And even though it seems so far away and so weird, He has your divine blueprint, baby.
Mm,
Write down that vision on paper. Get you a journal. Get you a journal. Write down the stuff she likes to do, what she like to wear, where you
wow.
go, what things you want to do. Write it in such detail because where you gonna go next, you gonna have to go back and keep reading that over and over again to keep you
Mm,
running. First of all, second of all, if you're in a situation that I was in where you just have to make a change, you need to write down what would happen if you don't make that change. You got to write that down. I came to the conclusion that the way that I was going, I just might not see my 80th or 70th birthday. You don't see too many people that are morbidly, severely obese that big. So you have to write down what will happen if I don't make a change. Okay. And then write down really big that I am change and become change. And as soon as I said that, that's when change started happening.
mm,
And don't listen to no one else. Don't you might not even need to tell nobody else right away. Cause
right.
I didn't even tell my family anything. I just went dark, cut off social media for a while and only watched these doctors that I'm telling you guys about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
I
found
found
that
only
that
to
to
be
be
really
really
important
important
too.
too.
yes, you got to keep them out of your business because first of all, the ones that mean well going to be worried about you. Okay?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
You don't need that negative chatter because they don't understand. They're not in your body. They don't know what you go through, you know. I
mm-hmm.
realized when I was in the hospital with my son, and I don't have no remorse or feel any way about anybody. I love everybody. But it was nobody but me and him and my husband in that hospital. Only one person came to visit us. Okay.
Mm,
So why include all those people? What you going through, what you going through. You know what you going through.
mm-hmm.
Write that vision down, make it plain, read it every day. Say, I am changed. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna change my life.
Mm-hmm.
And you will. God will start leading you to the right people, to the right places. You watching this video right now. That's one thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
So we right now your destiny helpers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right? And I'm here for you, and Martha's here for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you can reach out to either one of us. But,
Yes.
you have to make a decision. One vision and one decision can change your whole destiny. And you owe that to yourself. So come on, baby. The world waiting for you. We wait for you to manifest.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes.
Miss Lady Tay, where can anybody find you if they're interested in hearing you, going to your YouTube? Tell them where to find you.
You can find my channel, YouTube at Kingdom Queen Talk. Because I'm a Kingdom Queen and I talk. And I talk a lot about I talk about the Lord, and I also talking about how this dye industry is really pulling the wool over our eyes, don't want us to
Mm-hmm.
be free. And I talk about big pharma, and pretty soon,
Yes.
like Martha, I'm going to
Yes.
have my own podcast on that channel talking about your body is your palace
Amen.
and your mind is God's temple. So stay tuned for that. And you can
Awesome.
also find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Kingdom Queen Talk. So you can find me that way too. And you can also find me on Facebook, just Lady Tay the Vision Queen.
Awesome. And I'll be linking in the description all of those for you guys. Guys,
Yes.
I have something to tell you. Okay? Don't wait for the voice of God. We are the voice
No,
of God for you, okay? Do this
don't
thing.
wait. Don't wait
Start
for
low
New
carb,
Year's.
do fasting, do keto, do carnivore, do
Yeah,
something
do something.
to
Start
change
somewhere.
your
Your
life.
life.
Start
Start
small if you need
small
to.
if you need to.
Find a
Yeah.
Find a
tribe.
tribe.
And if you don't
And
have
if you
one,
don't have one,
we'll be your
we'll be
tribe.
your tribe.
Write to
Write
us,
to us,
messages.
messages.
I'm
I'm
already getting
already getting
questions.
questions.
Martha,
Martha,
how
how
about
about
this?
this?
How do
How
I
do
do
I do
this?
this?
I'm
I'm
discouraged.
discouraged.
Don't be
Don't be
discouraged.
discouraged.
You don't
You
need
don't
to
need to
walk
walk
this
this
all
all
by
by
yourself.
yourself.
We'll
We'll
walk
Right.
walk
with
it with
you.
you.
Yes.
Miss
You
Miss
Lady
have
Lady
Tay,
Tay,
family.
thank you
thank you
so
so
much
much
for
for
being
being
with
You're
with
us
us
and
and
very
sharing your
sharing your
welcome.
story.
story.
You're very, very welcome. Remember, guys, if you can think it, you can see it. And if you can see it, you can be it, baby. Go on and write that vision down, make it
Yes,
plain, and go on and do it. Just run after it. Just run after it. Okay?
I
I
love
love
it.
it.
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
guys.
Appreciate
Appreciate
you.
you.
We'll
We'll
see you
see you
next
next
time.
time.